Thank you UPDF for sponsoring this video. I've used laptops and desktop PCs for the most part of my life, and not once did I ever think an iPad could seriously challenge that setup. To me, it was always a side device, a content machine, something that's nice to have. Then I picked up the M1 iPad Air 5, later upgraded to the M2 iPad Air, and honestly, I wish I bought one way earlier, not because it replaces everything, but because it just changes how you work in ways you never expect. Starting off with the software and performance, there is honestly nothing to say here because it's an iPad running at desktop level, super efficient, high performance Apple Silicon chip. It's already a pad on the max, so on an iPad, it's way more power than you'll possibly ever need. Editing videos with multiple timelines, effects, multiple video and audio streams just flows like nothing. It crushes professional work like audio and music production, 3D animation. Productivity tasks are nothing to this beast. Content consumption, emailing, even AAA gaming is literally just a breeze. When I first bought the iPad, I wanted a chill device mainly for content consumption and productivity, but I ended up editing videos, designing stuff, doing code reviews, and so many other things I never expected to do on this little thing. On the iPad, I consume content in ways an iPhone just can't. Notes taking, planning, PDFs, and all that just feels right on the iPad. I've said this before and I'll say it again. iPad OS, though powerful, is not and never will be macOS. There's just way too many compromises on the iPad OS for it to be a total laptop replacement. I think this is both its strength and weakness. The best part is portability. I can pop it on a desk, in bed, on the kitchen counter, you name it. By the way, if you like the wallpaper, you can grab it for yourself with the links in the description box down below. Hardware-wise, the iPad Air 5 is over 3 years old and the iPad Air M2 is a little over a year old, and the chassis is still holding up really well. I've dropped it off table edges, desks, random surfaces, and there are no cracks, no dead pixels, and no paint scratches. And yes, it's not 120Hz ProMotion display, but it's still insanely good for everything from reading to editing. I barely use the camera beyond occasional Zoom calls. Battery life still amazes me. Even on the older iPad Air 5, I still get a full day of battery, even if I'm watching videos, gaming, watching creative breakdowns, and scribing through notes, all from a single charge. That alone says a lot about the hard work and long-term thinking from the team over at Apple. Now let's be real. If we had the freedom to download third-party software from the web, like on macOS, unlimited by the App Store, the iPad would have been a very different device. For some people like artists, students, and designers, it already works as a full laptop replacement as it's everything they ever need. But for most people, it's not quite there yet. It can do a lot of what a laptop does, but often with compromises. The truth is, a laptop can do everything an iPad can, but not the other way around. That's why for most users, a laptop is still a better all-round device. The iPad shines best as an extension, an extra display, a creative canvas, a media machine, a perfect tool for artists, certain students, and for focused workflows. Asking about the future of the iPad is tricky. On one hand, it feels perfect as it is. On the other hand, you constantly wish it could do a little more, just a little more like a laptop, but if it becomes too much like a laptop, then what is the point of laptops? I genuinely think the iPad's future isn't about replacement, it's more about coexistence, used alongside a laptop, not instead of one. That, at least to me, is where it makes the most sense. Paired with a good case and a stylus, an iPad becomes an incredible machine, not because it replaces everything, but because it does certain things way better than any other device. And once you experience that, it's honestly hard to go back. Don't forget to grab yourself the wallpaper pack, and if you feel generous enough and you'd love to support the channel, you can do so by grabbing me a cup of coffee with the links in the description box down below.